Okay. Like I don't have already. No, I. Ew. So hello guys. Welcome to my channel. I'm Yasa, just a curious soul bumbling around in her own world. Oh, sorry. You might hear my baby's voice, her beautiful, precious voice. Anyways, yeah. So today's today's video, we're gonna talk about first, what is doodling, and why I chose to doodle during my pregnancy, and showing you guys some of my artworks that I created beautifully during my pregnancy. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, what is doodling? So doodling is basically when I draw something, but then I'm not really paying attention to it, right? So for example, when I don't know, I remember, for example, growing up watching my mom, we would have this like uh cell phones that were based at home, and she was like all the time, wanted to before and after cooking or something. I don't know, an uncle or aunt or auntie or a neighbor would call, and she would be like in the phone for like 2 hours, and then I would see, while she's talking to that person, literally like she has drawn a beautiful, amazing picture in a random notebook or a newspaper or something, and that's basically doodling. And or another example, I guess myself, I remember growing up, almost all my school books were full of random patterns and drawings. So basically, I was in the class, for example, I don't know, I was in a chemistry class and the chemistry teacher is talking and explaining, and I'm so bored. So I just decided that draw a giant eye in the corner of the paper. I bet there are some people out there like me did the same things, and it's so funny because to this day I have all of those patterns, and it just reminds me of how much I was listening to my teachers during the class. But anyway, there were times that I was interested and I was doing my job. I was a good student. I was really good student. I was doing my best, and it was all good. But I had quite nice patterns and drawings that have been created during my high school years. Yeah, so that's basically doodling, and it can be basically anything, right? You don't have to really think about it. The point is to not think or plan it out. Yeah, you can think or plan it out if you want to while you're doing it. Yeah, the point is to just let yourself go and let your hand and mind and emotions decide and create that pattern for you, which just makes it so beautiful. Now to the second topic. Why did I choose to doodle during my pregnancy? Well, the story is that I I was going through really like hard time mentally, and I was really trying my best to stay on tune, stay on myself. I was like kind of I was always all the time sad and stressed, and then on top of that, I got a news that I was pregnant, and it was awesome. I was so excited to be pregnant. Well, with all the difficulties or whatever, we were supposed to go to our, first ultrasound. First important ultrasound that they check the placenta, they check all the vessels, around it, how the baby is like attached, and blah blah, all those scientific terms. And the first thing doctor said, well, the baby is healthy, everything is all right. However, my measurements is telling me that you're in a high risk of preeclampsia. Therefore, you need to take pills for it, right? The pill is like a baby aspirin, basically, yeah, and for me at that point, because for me it was like for the first time I'm being pregnant, I have zero experience of any of this, you know. And I mean, already going to the first ultrasound was just the most, I don't know, most hardest time, really, you know. I was so nervous. I was just really praying, God, like, please, just, I really want a healthy baby, and yeah, hopefully things go well. And this lady comes and tells me that, oh yeah, you're in a high risk of preeclampsia, and I have no idea what she told me, you know, because like, I mean, yeah, of course I have a background of studying and being in healthcare system. However, I don't know all the terms, and I never heard, to be honest, I never heard of this term of preeclampsia. I had no idea what is it, and I'm in a high risk of it. And I've been keep asking her, you know, please, can you give me an explanation? What does it mean? You know, it's like, what is it or something? And well, unfortunately, she was way too busy, and she was kind of, you know, mean about it. You know, she just said, you know, listen to me. This is what you have to do. Take these pills and do this. Well, I'm not blaming anybody. It's all right. It's all right, because I saw like she was really busy. There were other patients behind the door, you know. I was also a bit late to the appointment. But it's just like, maybe the stress level that I had was to this point. And then all of a sudden, after that appointment, my stress level were like, woo, like to the top. I was like, this is crazy. Like, my heart was beating so fast. I was like, as if like I was self-sabotaging myself, and just somehow with the power of my brain killing myself. It was pretty dramatic how I was feeling as a whole, you know? Just somehow, because I mean, also another explanation that she gave me was that, well, this is what I'm saying is that you need to take this pill because it can potentially be super dangerous for you and your baby, and the cost of it can be like both of your lives, basically, something like that. I'm like, so I am pregnant and you're telling me that I might die, or my baby might something happen to her? I was just like, okay, this is too much, yeah. At that point, yeah, at that point, I was like, okay, you know, this is not okay. I started really like self-studying, you know, this whole concept of preeclampsia. If you guys interested, I mean, I can make a separate video of my understandings about the concept of preeclampsia and how, like, what did I understand from it and everything. However, at that time, I was like, okay, all I wanted to have a healthy baby and a good pregnancy. And I know that all the pregnancies, each people, they go through so different, so much, like, you know, each pregnancy is so different, and everybody have their own stories. But then for me it was like kind of, because before getting pregnant even, you know, we've been like in a family, in a condition that we've been eating healthy, everything was like on the point. I was like really trying to eat the best quality food and this, that, you know, to just for us to be healthy, you know, as healthy as we can. And for my first pregnancy, you know, they come and say this, you know, and then there's like, oh yeah, just in case, yeah, if you're smoking, don't smoke, don't drink, or don't do this, or don't eat high sugar, or this and that. I'm like, dude, like, I'm like literally eating, this like diet has been part of my life forever, and anyway, I don't want to go to that topic. But anyway, so I start the journey of, okay, how can I reduce my stress? Because one of the main reasons that people get preeclampsia is high stress. And you know, the condition of your living and your stress level and mental health can really affect whether you're gonna have preeclampsia or not. You know, it's like really important. Your mental health like plays a huge role. Anyway, so one of the decisions that I made was to, okay, maybe I can try, you know, go toward the arts, you know, because I mean I've always been into arts. I've been trying to paint, draw, everything. Like I feel like even the reason that I got pregnant was because it was a moment, that timing of my life, that I was really into painting. I was like painting a lot. I feel like I released so much good hormones that that somehow this baby was like, I need to come to this world. My mom feels so happy right now. Or I don't know, but anyway, so after I make this decision to, you know, reduce the level of my stress, I was like, okay, what can I do? And I'll go through like art forms, you know, that they use as like a art therapy, in art therapy or stuff. And I see doodling. So as I explained it to you, doodling is something that you're not supposed to think too much about it. You're not supposed to plan it. You're supposed to just go for it and do it and express your emotions, you know? And it actually did exactly as I'm saying, you know? I started it when I was like 4 months pregnant. I did it like every single day, every day, non-stop, you know, non-stop, all the way to the day that I gave birth. And it was just awesome. It just like, it changed my mood. I was feeling good. Again, I'm saying it, I did my research about pre-eclampsia and this and that, and you know, at that point I really like try to make some changes about how I want my pregnancy to look like, or you know, how can I like keep myself under my own control, you know, not to fall down the depression hole, you know, or anywhere else. So I really like did my research, and one of the things that I did was doodling. Okay, so I started to doodle on my 4th month, and since then I was feeling great. I was like, okay, I don't have time to do this. I can't do this like all day and just doodle, you know. I have to live life. I have to do other things. However, I was like, well, you know, you can put at least 15 minutes of your time daily. I bet if you try, you know, you can do it. And good thing about doodling is that you can do it in anything. Look what I have. I have just like a tiny little, like it's a sketchbook. It's like very tiny, yeah, almost the same size as my hand, yeah. And then I gradually went to something maybe around this size. And then I was like, by the time I was like, oh, I told myself that I don't have time, and then all of a sudden I am like creating giant patterns in like, you know, this like A3 like, you know, papers, which is quite crazy because it was taking me like hours and hours, and I was happy to just sit and doodle, to be honest. So what it did to me was that it really enhanced my mood. It really helped me to meditate and, you know, slow down a bit. I was like feeling more creative and calm at the same time. Generally, doodling, it does help you in many ways. So, and they do use this in art therapy, you know, because first of all, as a form of meditation, technically, yeah, it slows down your mind and helps you to relax, especially in your, you know, on a stressful day. Definitely helps calm yourself down. but also you feel productive, you know, you feel like you did something good and productive, and it's really like forcing you in the moment to get as creative as you can, because you're not really planning ahead. Yeah, so it's really like takes out like the bits and pieces of creativity that you have in your mind. Of course, you can get inspired by other people's arts and different things that you see around you, of course, yeah, but it definitely enhances your creativity, and it's kind of helps with concentration and makes you like focus better. And I believe it can be a preventative method for many mental disorders. Like, I mean, for me, it definitely changed the way I was, and it gave me a chance to really calm down and not be stressful, especially after the news of preeclampsia. Like, after that, you know, I had my explosive moment, you know. I was like so mad. I was like, why nobody, like no professional like is explaining to me what is it, and I have to self-study everything myself. And I was like really frustrated about it, because the whole point of not having preeclampsia is to have low stress. But then after learning the news, my stress was like so high, and I was like, wouldn't it better if you wouldn't have told me? Anyway, I really would like to talk about this, because I was like really, it made me really confused about this whole concept of this stuff. But anyway, so I really suggest you guys to try doodling. Try doodling, and yeah, I mean, this is my video, this is my first video, so probably I'll be cutting things a lot. I hope it turns out okay, but yeah, I guess the third part that I really wanted to talk about was that I would like to show you guys some of my arts that I created. So I told you I started off with this tiny sketchbook that is a sketchbook. You're supposed to write the stuff in it, calligraphy or something. But then I was like, okay, I got myself a pen, and this was like a small enough because we were traveling. I was like, okay, this is a small enough for me to just create a pattern, right? And I don't have to, like, it doesn't weigh as much, it's super tiny, I can take it anywhere with me. Pen, it's everywhere, like even if you don't take it anywhere, you can just buy it in a supermarket or something. It's like really like convenient. And yeah, so I really like started off knowing nothing and experimenting. Some of the patterns weren't like, the fun fact about doodling is that it's really personal, or maybe like that's a whole fact about arts. It's like so personal, and like, you know, sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't like this art, or I like the other art, but then someone else comes and comments on your art and it says that, oh, actually I like that art, and I'm like, oh, really? So it's a fun thing about art. But anyways, at the beginning I noticed like I wasn't really as good, so I didn't really like it as much. But as more I was like trying, you know, I was like really like getting a hand of it. I was like really started to like it, you know. I mean, I'm really quickly showing it, but I don't know, some of maybe, I don't know, it's like cute stuff I've been trying to create. I don't know if you see, yeah. And I mean, I feel like because also it has these repetitive motions, you know, like you tend to repeat certain patterns. That's what it helps you to focus better and concentrate. So yeah, like this one, like kind of, you see all those little flowers. I guess I spent so much, so many hours just drawing tiny little pieces of. Yeah, I mean, this one, oh, I like this one a lot. I mean, these were like, some of them were like, yeah, as more I was learning about doodling, as more I was like watching different people doodle, and I would get inspired. And yeah, oh my goodness, I really like this one. Yeah, there are like many like these ones. These are also like kind of a interesting form. Yeah, so there are like all different types, you see. And then I, after I I finished this, you know, because, you know, pregnancy is long, and if you're doodling every single day, you need a lot of paper. So I went and found a different book, or, you know, drawing book that I had, notebook I had, and I started on that, yeah, and that one is finished, and I'm like, okay, well, what should I do? I'm gonna go this, you know, I'm gonna this size, and I'm gonna find a different size, you know, like, these ones were most time consuming, of course, but I mean, actually it was like the patterns were coming out pretty nice, and I didn't mind it. However, well, it was right by the time that I was ready to give birth, and of course, I don't know, that's a birthing story, and it took me so long to give birth. But anyway, this is like one of the patterns that I am proud of. It's super cute. I mean, it's not cute, it's like cool. Like I showed to someone, and they're saying like, you know, it could be a pattern somewhere. Somewhere on a wall, or I don't know, but right now I'm not necessarily, I don't have a specific thoughts about what I'm gonna do with these. However, I know they saved my pregnancy, and I love doodling, and I really suggest people who are dealing with depression, anxiety, they're just, you know, very high stress, like, you know, they all the time they're like dealing with the stress, you know, just try. You don't have to do this big, start with this big, you see, and it might take you, I mean, depending on your depends on what is your pattern, it might take you, I don't know, 5 minutes, it might take you 10 hours. Yeah, it depends on you, and it's really does not have to be time consuming. It depends on how much time do you have, but it definitely helps with stress level and anxiety, and I loved it so much. And on the pens that I used, you know, they're just the normal fine liners, yeah. I mean, of course, just recently bought this, I don't know, it was close to Halloween time, I guess. There was this Wednesday, I don't know, fine liner, something like this. It doesn't have to be this, but any fine liner, yeah. These ones, like, I bought them separately, yeah, as a pen. Black, they're like in form of black, blue, red, whatever, yeah. It's super cheap, super convenient, and I don't know how to zoom this on the camera, but yeah, it's super convenient and worth trying it. It's for your mental health and for your really mental well-being, you know, it's worth it, and it's a form of art. Like, I can't say that I wasted time. When I show you this piece of art, you're telling me that I wasted time? No, I am 10 times happier and functions better, and I have created beautiful art. Well, anyway, and you can also try these. I'm still exploring with this brand, like, you know, they're good for highlighting, you know, so, you know, I wasn't like necessarily a professional drawer or anything, yeah, so I didn't know even, like, I didn't know anything about brands, pens, papers, anything, yeah. I had a sketchbook. I had the sketchbook in my closet somewhere, like, you know, rusty, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just use it and doodle in it, yeah. It could be as easy as it. Anyway, hope I inspired some people, and hope I taught you something. Thank you if you watched me throughout the whole video, then thank you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see you. Bye bye.